I'm a big fan of the Nintendo GameCube. So many awesome games on that system. Love playing Game Boy games on it and Game Boy Advance through the Game Boy player. What more do you need, right? And one of the controllers that I really loved was the Wavebird. These things are getting harder and harder to come by, especially in decent condition. I have two of them, and I think this one right here, if I'm not mistaken, was the product of taking two broken ones and combining parts to make one good one. It's getting kind of ridiculous, man. And yeah, there's been some third parties out there who have made clones of the Wavebird. And I've tried a few of them. And they always kind of left a bit to be desired, as the ladies like to say. Yes, they like to say that. Don't question it. And if you remember, not too long ago, I believe it was almost 2 months ago, our guys over at Retro Fighters announced this brand new controller, the BladeGC, and how it was going up for pre-order for a limited time. I believe that those pre-orders are done by now. So if you got one, great. If you didn't, I'm sure there'll be more available. But don't fret, because these guys, I give them credit, man. I've been critical on some of their devices. I had some complaints in the past, like with the original Brawler 64. And I always have mad respect for these guys. I talked some shit and shared my displeasure with certain things, and others found some similar issues. I wasn't the only one. I was just kind of vocal about it, right? I have a YouTube channel. That's what I do. Take it or leaves it, right? And like I said, mad respect for these guys. They didn't take it and say, you know what, screw that guy. Screw what he has to say. They took it as, let's look and see if these are valid concerns. Let's see. And, you know, they wound up talking to me, and, you know, they wound up not just talking to me, but talking to the whole community and addressing those initial concerns with that device. These guys have been really good about that, listening to the community and what people say about their products. They're looking at videos like videos that I do, comments from you guys out there on said videos, on social media, when they post videos. Retro Fighters does have a YouTube channel as well. You know, so they're always looking at what the community has to say about their products. And I can appreciate that. I can respect that. And when this was first announced, the BladeGC, some people were like, why is the D-pad up there? Why is it not swapped with the analog stick, right? And Retro Fighters seems to have heard the concerns. They're still putting out this BladeGC, but now they have another controller that is coming out, which is going to be called the, what is it? I got to double check. The BattlerGC. Yes, the BattlerGC. I had to double check, man, because, you know, so many names that these guys got for all these different controllers. I think they're going to run out at some point as far as their naming conventions go, especially when they have multiple controllers for one system. Man, yeah, so this is the BattlerGC. They swapped it around because, you know, why not? They heard the community out there. They made some changes here, not to replace the previous product, but to make an additional one. Because why? So the initial controller, the specs are the same. You're going to have a 30-foot range, 10 plus hours playtime for both the BladeGC and the BattlerGC, compatible with the GameCube, Game Boy player. Obviously, it's part of the GameCube. It's not built in. You have to buy one and attach the Game Boy player. The Game Boy player is awesome. I mean, it is a Game Boy Advance built into that thing. But also, besides the actual, you know, Game Boy and GameCube stuff, you could use these controllers on the Nintendo Switch and PC. So it has pressure-sensitive analog triggers. They state responsive analog sticks, yet to be known 100%. We will have to test that when I eventually get one in my grubby little mitts. 2.4 gigahertz technologies for the wireless connectivity, turbo functionality, rechargeable battery, all that good stuff. We've already addressed all that. So with this new one that they're putting out, same specs, it's just kind of arranged differently. They state that the it's essentially the same design, but with the D-pad and the analog stick swapped, that they were listening to the feedback from you guys out there, and they just wanted to provide another option. But they state that the BladeGC, the original one, not this one, not the one with the swapped stuff, but this one right here, that it's better suited for like playing retro games or the Game Boy player, because you got the bigger D-pad there, and then, you know, just kind of form across like how the Hori pad was. So hey, that works. It does sound legit. Like, yeah, this may be better for the Game Boy player, and then how the BattlerGC will be better for games that don't really require the D-pad as much. If you notice on original GameCube controllers, the D-pad's a little tiny thing, man, real little. I could put like my whole pinky finger over that thing. The D-pad is tiny, man. So the D-pad on this version, the BattlerGC, is a bit smaller to more mimic the way the original style controller was. So you're gonna have that right analog stick like your C stick, and then the same form for your face buttons A, B, X, and Y, and your pressure sensitive triggers and whatnot. I'm digging that, man. I'm actually I was thinking when they first shared this with me, obviously I'm recording this video well prior to their announcement. When their announcement goes live, this video will go live. But when they first shared this with me, like, hey, we're going to be announcing this. Just wanted to share the info with you ahead of time. I thought, man, what is the community going to think of this? Because you just announced not too long ago this other version, but I think it's not always just like everybody complained. There is a vocal minority sometimes, and I get it because people do want the original style in a new form. It makes sense, but when I really thought about it and I looked at everything, I'm like, having these two options, it's kind of cool because, yeah, like for me, I want something like this. I want a wireless controller that's formed like this. It just makes sense. It's the way I'm going to want to play, GameCube games, right? With the analog stick up at the top. So my thought is like people who don't care about the Game Boy player or don't really want to use this on the Switch and whatnot, like maybe the options are fine. Like you have an option for people who want to use a controller for the Game Boy player, which this one, the original one, the BladeGC, seems like it's going to be fine. It'll work fine on the Switch as well. I mean, the analog sticks, the position, it's not crazy abnormal. It is different than what the Switch Pro controller is, but very similar. I don't think I have one, do I? But, similar in style to like a PlayStation controller. So some people like this, analog sticks at the bottom, right by your meaty thumbs. And then some people like, the Xbox and Pro controller style where you're offset. I don't really hate either orientation, but I see the benefits to both. For me, yeah, I'm gonna love having one of these for my Game Boy action and retro games. That's specifically what they said, retro games. And then this one to actually use for playing GameCube games. Like, I'm gonna try to get one of each orange. Like, that's what I want. I want an orange one of each to match my my GameCube. And yeah, like not everybody's gonna want to do that, so it's kind of like take your pick, I guess. But I'm gonna try to get one of each just to have them. But I definitely see the community looking at it like, yeah, it's options. That's what we're getting. So these should be going live for pre-order, and it's gonna be a limited pre-order for the 20th anniversary of GameCube. Like, they're just gonna take pre-orders for 20 days. It's gonna ship at the same time. At least that's the way it sounded. What did they say here? Let me double check that. Yeah, it should be the same target release date as the other one. So both of them should be coming out at the same time. They both should be shipping around the same time. So look forward to that. The other thing they did note to me, which is something that has been obvious since I reviewed their Nintendo 64 Switch controller, the USB wireless Brawler 64. They've stated, and I know other people have already heard this, but they made sure to let me know again, that they are working on a firmware update to fix that to be able to be used on the Nintendo Switch properly, to have mappable buttons and whatnot, just to make it more functional on the Switch. And that firmware update should be coming soon. So as soon as that releases, we'll be testing it out, letting you guys know what's up with that controller. Because a lot of people do like that Brawler 64 style. And for the Switch, it makes sense if you like the feel of it to use it for the Nintendo 64 stuff. But then at the same time, the way Nintendo did things, not having in-game mapping for that service, kind of messed things up for some controllers out there. But hopefully Retro Fighters gets that rectified. And it sounds like it should be pretty soon, that I think they're just wrapping it up type of thing. So I'll let you guys know when that's done and we test it out over here, wherever I'm at right now. Appreciate you guys, man. Let me know what you think down below. What do you think about having 2 different versions of this controller? Did you pre-order the first one? Now you're mad that the new one's coming out, or that there's going to be pre-orders for that one? Are you upset, or are you fine with what you chose? Or are you just going to go both like my mentality? Hey, I wouldn't mind having one of each. Let me know down below in the comments. Appreciate you guys. Give you guys a big-ass blurry thumb butt like a Bigfoot. Bye.